Hello Ragers. Before I begin this video, let me set the scene for you. Picture this, it's 1:38 in the afternoon and my grueling 13-hour shift browsing Instagram was coming to an end. However, right as I was about to turn off my phone and begin my productive day of rewatching Community up until Season 5, Episode 5 for the 6th time this week, something unusual caught my eye. This image, right here. For the life of me, I could not comprehend this post, and as someone who is on the 7th layer of irony and has acquired 23 Reddit Gold Awards, I was shocked. I had to dig deeper, so out of options and with nowhere left to go, I booked a flight to Japan in search of answers. Alright, enough beating off the bush. Basically, I saw this dumbass post, was somehow able to decipher this schizophrenic nonsense, and was left wondering what the fuck a UA plug was. So I figured I would explore this topic, document my findings, and follow in the steps of Gary Vee by uploading this onto YouTube for monetary gain. Also, I want to make this clear, I do not endorse UAPLG, nor do I want to spread hate. This video is for educational purposes only. Before I explain what UAPLG is all about, I wanted to explain what unauthorized authentics are. Long story short, they're fake clothes for people who are too insecure to buy fake clothes. But for real, according to UAPLG's website, unauthorized authentics are sneakers and clothing that are produced with the same exact materials and accessories as the official retail pairs, but not meant for resale purposes. In more depth, they are made in the same place and with the same materials as the original product, but sold by someone else. In this case, they're sold by UAPLG. Further elaborating on that, UAPLG even goes as far as to say that there's no catch and that they're able to sell these premium products at reasonable prices, which I think is kind of bullshit, but I'll get into that later. So yeah, they're able to sell these products for reasonable prices because they're unauthorized authentics, aka fakes, and they say in order to get a better understanding of what the whole thing is about, to take a look at their about page, which is what I'll be looking at now. The founder of the site, who goes by the name Dan, starts off by basically saying he was broke, so he decided to do what any sane person would do and start an underground fake sneaker empire. Kidding, of course. Kind of. Basically, he said he couldn't afford a Supreme box logo. Jesus Christ. He goes on to brag about his sneaker knowledge. Okay, buddy, save some pussy for the rest of us. And how he went on to take an internship at Nike and worked his way up the corporate ladder. He was then drafted to Vietnam to check out the Nike slave labor factories and came to the ever so shocking and surprising conclusion that lots of defective pairs of exclusive shoes get left behind for whatever reason. Most commonly, it has to do with them being stored in warehouses with bad conditions, apparently. Basically, these factories produce an excess amount of supplies, and the main reason is because they need extra pairs just in case. He then explains artificial scarcity in baby terms, lots of shoe made, few shoes actually get sold. Then Big Man Dan had the bright idea to save the sneaker game by basically developing relationships with those factories and eventually asking if the factories can backdoor him some leftover supplies. If you don't know what that term means, essentially they were giving him this shit under the table. I'm sure they had some type of monetary arrangement, but he doesn't mention that, so I won't speculate. Anyway, he goes on to pretty much say it was hard work getting the supplies from the factories, but eventually he was able to gather every single unassembled part of sneakers out there. Nowadays, Dan says they have a bunch of manufacturers that produce sneakers for a variety of different brands, such as Adidas, Nike, Supreme, etc., and that they sell exclusive models of shoes and clothing through being able to acquire each material used to make them, and then they are assembled at undisclosed factories with the evermost effort by highly skilled employees. And that's pretty much the end of it. Now, I summarized that a lot because you would die from cringe otherwise if I were to read it all. To me, it seems as if Dan was talking down to the reader during the whole thing. For instance, he'd say stuff like, "Yes, I am one of those sneaker fanatics who know more about your own shoes than most do." And when he was explaining how there are a lot of leftover supplies and defective sneakers get left behind and artificial scarcity and all that, he really dumbed it down and used a lot of jargon. Which brings me to my next gripe with this. It's obviously aimed towards a younger, more gullible audience. This is best seen when he hypes up his brand saying shit like, "This is the closet you could get without breaking the bank or your pockets by owning these highly limited and iconic streetwear fashion." And by trying to appear relatable to broke kids who want shoes, which is evident in the opening statement on the About page. Now, obviously he has to pitch his brand somehow, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here, but it just feels like a "how do you do, fellow kids" type beat when he unironically uses the phrase "super dope." That last point was a little bit nitpicky, I'll admit. However, it's the Instagram posts, on the other hand, that don't always sit right with me. Taking a look at their own Instagram, they claim to have been in the game for 5 years, yet their account is only 2 years old, and has only been going by the username RealUAPLG since April 28th, 2020. But they did make this post on April 30th claiming that 4 of their accounts got hacked, which I do find kind of suspicious considering Instagram has made themselves very clear that they are against the sale of counterfeit goods and fraudulent activity. Also, a bunch of Taobao sellers' Instagram accounts have been taken down in the past, but if they say they got hacked, then they got hacked, as it is illegal to lie on the internet if you didn't know. Anyway, furthering that, they make these posts that are obvious broke hypebeast bait, such as what hypebeasts wear versus what they actually wear, which anyone with a mildly functioning brain can figure out that this isn't true at all. These posts are similar to those mobile game ads where they show someone doing a mundane task with a caption like, "Only 1% of people succeed. If you win, you are legally skilled." I'll show a few more here, but I'm sure you get the idea. Between acting like they're doing you a huge service by saving you money, which is actually pretty similar to Minimal, aka the Robin Hood of streetwear, and by also masquerading these meme-esque posts as ads and obviously targeting a younger, more gullible demographic, it's all a little suspicious and seems pretty disingenuous. On top of that, their ads are often reposted to those hypebeast theme pages as seen here, which are evidently aimed towards a younger audience as well. More on that point, if you look in the comments of any UAPLG post, you will see often younger and more gullible people asking if they are legit or not. Now, I wanted to talk a bit more about their prices. They basically act like they're doing their customers a huge favor by selling their shoes for under resale, but in reality, the shit's not cheap, especially for fakes. The average price for their shoes is over $200 US. Even if they are made with the same materials and whatever else they claim, it's a little ridiculous if you ask me. But before I get into what I'm about to show you next, I just wanted to reiterate the point that again, this is for educational purposes only, so I won't be specifically saying where to get these fake shoes I'm about to show, because I do not want to endorse any sellers. However, it is not hard to find, but taking a look at r/rep sneakers and fashion reps and using the Travis Scott Jordan 1s as example, UAPLG sells them for $270 US. However, in literally 3 minutes, I was able to find a one-to-one, basically exact replica of these shoes for almost half that price. $145 US on an unnamed website. Reviews on Reddit say that these are practically flawless, and if you're not convinced, here's another example. UAPLG sells the Yeezy 350 V2 Zebras for $255, while I was able to find a much cheaper pair on Reddit for again half the price at $115. Now, I'm expecting some sneaker reps enthusiasts to comment, "But there's different badges, you don't understand!" But in reality, if you do know anything about that, you can clearly see that UAPLG marks up their products a bunch. Even if you don't know all that much about sneakers in general, it isn't hard to see that they are acting as if they're saving you a bunch of money, when in reality they're often charging around or even more than retail prices for fake shoes. I don't know, something about that doesn't sit right with me. At the end of the day, this really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. However, expressing myself on YouTube to an audience is better than ranting into the void. But all in all, do I agree with what they're doing here? No. They're violating Instagram's terms of service, they're preying on the young and gullible, and they're acting like Minimal in the sense that they're saying they're saving you a bunch of money and doing you a huge favor, when in reality their customers are being overcharged for fake shoes that they could find the exact versions of on r/sneaker reps in 3 minutes. I do not like the term unauthorized authentic because it's dishonest. UAPLG uses a lot of jargon and generic terms without thoroughly explaining basically anything, which is reflected through the amount of confused people in their comments. I don't know, man. Those are my thoughts. Maybe I just don't understand the complexity behind the meaning of unauthorized authentics. But what do you guys think about this situation? Is UAPLG in the right here? Am I mentally retarded? These are the questions I need answers to. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Hopefully I didn't waste your time and that you're able to learn something mildly interesting maybe from this video. And I guess this is the point where I tell you to go follow my Instagram or something, so go do that. Also, my next video will probably be exploring the Vujade and Ken drama, so stay tuned. I almost forgot, but later, Ragers.
Yo, Pierre, you wanna come out here?